nice.
Nope. Nope. Can't charge up that quick.
There we go.
It's not happening.
Where is he?
There was something weird about this interdiction anyway.
He's not.
He's not taking any damage, he's logged. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Zobble1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous. Now, I feel like I'm sullying this footage and I'll explain. We were pirating in Seoul. This is a snippet of us pirating Seoul, including some comms with a guy who combat logged over one black box. He was carrying one black box and he combat logged on me and Polo, which was kind of hilarious and kind of funny. The video I showed you at the start is actually inconclusive, and I would not normally be using an inconclusive video had it not been for the very handy fact that he admitted it. Yeah, it's always an awkward one because piracy, when you're doing piracy, the reason you know they combat logged is because the limpets just fail and mess up because he's not there and he's gone, and even though he shows graphically there, he's not there. The limpets are messed up over it. Sometimes they do destroyed, sometimes they complete the cycle and then no cargo drops. If they complete the cycle and cargo drops, that's generally a menu log. If they complete the cycle and nothing appears, that's generally a combat log. But luckily for me, this gentleman straight up admitted it. So yeah, no mess, no fuss. Someone who would log for one black box. Bit of a shame. You know, I'm not going to hold it too much against him. Maybe going through hell or high water to get that black box, but it seems a little over the top for me. You know, it's just an odd one. The rest of our evening in Seoul was actually really, really good. You know, and I'm actually going to show you some footage of a non-log because when it happened, it was thought to be a combat log. I got sent the clip, and the person who attacked him thought he'd combat logged, and he hadn't. So I'm going to show you literally the sort of levels I go to when I look at clips of combat logging. I do not make an accusation of combat logging without the person A, admitting it, or B, me being very sure on the evidence. You know, I don't like making videos about combat loggers. I don't like, you know, I don't particularly want anyone witch hunted over a video I put out. I don't want any hounded or harassed. I'm literally putting the videos out as information only. This person combat logged, here's the gameplay. As far as I'm concerned, if you cheat in an online video game, you are choosing to do that in front of everybody. Therefore, if a clip of it ends up on YouTube, you can't complain. There's so many streamers and YouTubers that play video games that you really don't know who you're going to be running into. And, you know, this kind of sullies this wonderful moment where I was like, I know that gamer tag, why do I know that gamer tag? And like literally someone's turned up with a gift for us. You know, it's not proper legit piracy when they turn up and they just start dropping liquor for you. That's somebody turning up with a gift for us. It's very kind of them. It's a nice bit of roleplay for us. It's a fun moment, and yeah, it counts as piracy because technically we interdicted and pirated, but you know, we know when someone comes stocked full of liquor for no apparent reason and waiting patiently for us to interdict them, that it's more of a gift than a bit of actual piracy. We do occasionally get people do this for us, and it's wonderful. It's something really nice, and it brings a smile to all our faces. It's something that happens occasionally when we're out pirating in Seoul, or out pirating anywhere. We've, you know, always got some people who support what we do, think it's good for the game, think it's fun, it's silly roleplay, and it gives us a chance to do some roleplay text. I was particularly proud of, normally it's my children will be fed, but my response is my children will be drunk. I think Polo sent him something about my children will be fast asleep thanks to this. So responsible parents we are not when it comes to the pirate roleplay. I always make the joke that my character in game is like abandon his children on a planet somewhere, and I occasionally drop animal meat to them. I have used the video clip in the past, which is taken from the film Dragonheart. But yeah, bad parenting, silliness, roleplay, fun messages. That is what we in the Dark Marauders live for as roleplay pirates. We don't care how many kills we get, we don't care about sweating it out, being good at PvP. We just want to do some fun piracy, have a bit of a laugh, have a giggle in party chat, and do silly stuff. That's to us what's entertaining in the game. I know a lot of people think that we should be out doing sensible things or contributing to the game in some way. And it's like, well, we do everything else that you do. We just choose to do this with our 5% of time that we spend messing around, or 10%, or whatever percentage may be, depending on the day. I'm quite often doing wing missions to share with people less fortunate than myself who have less time to play, so they get access to the money so they can do the stuff they want to do when they do get a chance to play, and I share the materials from the missions as well to help them with engineering. But, my activities as a Dark Marauder get me marked down as a bad guy, and I'm fine with that. I quite like being the bad guy. I don't generally mind the roleplay that comes with that. It's good fun. It's a bit of silliness. There's some quite silly lawful groups out there that take things a little too seriously, but there are plenty of fun lawful groups that don't take it too seriously, and there's fun power play groups as well. Because I'm Mark on the lane, I do spend a fair amount of time killing Imperial commanders. Now I'm going to show you this non-combat log, so please remember this commander did not combat log. This is a D instance, so you see. Here's the interdiction, and there's a very brief fight, and then I'll see what you think, because it may look like a combat log to you. I spend a lot of time looking at footage of combat logging, looking at footage of D instances, looking at footage of menu logging. I get sent an awful lot of footage from around the community, not just my own guys, and a lot of it doesn't feature because a lot of it is inconclusive. I have to be sure, and the easiest way to be sure is when the person admits to it or just blatantly says they did it. Most people who are combat loggers actually don't see anything wrong with it, so quite often they will message you and say, oh, I definitely did it. So there we go, he vanishes, and that's that. But if you play it at slow motion and you watch closely, he's actually taking damage right up until the point he vanishes. It's probably a D instance, it may well be a game crash, and that's the danger. You can't go around throwing around accusations of combat logging willy-nilly. I know a lot of people do, see it all the time on Facebook. Star's got into a few arguments with some people that have said some crazy stuff that they think a combat log is something completely different to what it is. But this guy's taking damage right up until the point he vanishes. That's probably a D instance or a game crash. The other thing, the guy came back and took a couple of rebuys. Here he is dying to Dark Owl like a few minutes later. So clearly not a combat logger, someone who happily took a couple of rebuys, seemed to have fun even though he was well out of his depth engineering wise. But not somebody who's combat logging, somebody who is trying to have a fight, willing to have a go, and that's, we want to encourage that sort of thing. People who play honestly and take their rebuys is what we want to see in open. People who don't want to take rebuys, really, I don't know why you're in open. If you don't want to interact with players, you don't want to fight, you don't want to have to be pirate, don't go in open. If you've got one black box and it means that much to you, stay in private group or solo. If you go into open all the time, you're just going to get, you're just going to be tempted to combat log, and when you do, that's going to ruin your reputation going forward, and then there's some groups you'll never be able to join. Many people hold a very harsh view. I'm fairly forgiving when it comes to combat logging. A lot of my friends and colleagues in the game are not. The Dark Marauders has a strict no logging policy. If you've ever logged, you'll never be allowed in the Dark Marauders because Pirate Hawk's choice. He's the leader. TOC have a very dim view of combat logging, and once a logger, always a logger. I am less harsh than that. I'm of the opinion that people can redeem themselves. People can become reformed combat loggers, though they will still forever suffer the stigma of once being a combat logger, because once a logger, always a logger. And some people will refuse to 1v1 you. Some people will refuse to let you in their group. Some people will take the mick every time they see you. I will probably be one of those third type, and that's something you're gonna have to put up with, because you did cheat in a video game online, and it's a stigma that you're going to carry. This guy is most definitely a combat logger. You can see he's taking no damage, the ship is drifting around. Mallet is just continuing to shoot even though he knows it's over. It's just showing that there's no damage, waiting for it to disappear. And There's Mallow in a shieldless ship being shot at by the police, taking damage, waiting patiently for this ship to disappear so he can send the clip in and say, it's a logger. And it is. Sadly, this one is. So the first clip's a logger, last clip's a logger, but the guy in the middle, kudos, not a logger. Just someone that had a really unfortunate de-instance at the wrong time, which could have led to horrible accusations, but luckily, you know, I know the difference between clips. I spent a lot of time doing this, and unless I got a confession or I'm clear, I'm not going to say it's a combat log. So, you know, 2 loggers in one video. What can you say? Anyway, I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching as this guy engages that Guardian stealth device, and I'll hand it over to Kevin Spacey for the last bit. That's all. Thanks for watching.
He's gone.